Hey everyone and welcome. So today we're going to solve a mystery that's like super cute, but also kind of ouchy. Have you ever wondered why losing a tiny little cupcake feels so bad? Yeah, it's such a weird feeling. And you know what? It tells us so much about our money. So let's dive right in. Okay, for real, have you ever felt this? You know that little pang in your stomach when you realize you lost like $5? It feels so much worse than the little happy dance you do when you find $5 on the sidewalk, right? Well, that feeling, that is the core of our cupcake conundrum today.
You totally nailed it. And it all boils down to this really quirky little feature in our brain's programming. I want you to think of it like a tiny little glitch in your inner Tamagotchi. It's not some scary flaw. It's just a little something we need to get to know so we can take better care of ourselves.
Exactly. And this little glitch actually has a name. It's called loss aversion. So these super smart psychologists, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, they actually won a Nobel Prize for figuring this out in something called prospect theory. And the most important thing to know is that this isn't some personal failing. It's just how our brains are wired. The big takeaway is that the pain of losing something just hits us way harder. Whoa, wait, how much harder are we talking here? Like, a little bit more? Oh, it's a lot. Studies actually estimate that the ouchy feeling of a loss is about 2.25 times as powerful as the happy feeling of an equal gain. I mean, think about that. That's a massive emotional difference. Oh my gosh, look at this chart. It shows it perfectly. Look at that huge gap. So you're telling me if getting a cupcake gives me like 10 happy points, losing it gives me over 22 points of sadness? Wow. No wonder it feels so awful. And this is so important to remember. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Seriously, our brains are literally hardwired this way for a reason. Way back when, it was super important to not lose your food or your safe shelter, right? It's a survival instinct. It just gets a little weird when we apply it to something like the stock market.
Okay, I get it. So if this whole glitch thing is meant to protect us, how does it end up causing problems? Because it sounds like it could, especially when we're trying to grow our little money garden. Can this ouchy feeling actually make our sprouts wilt?
It totally can. And this right here is one of the biggest, sneakiest traps out there. It's called the disposition effect. Basically, because the pain of actually admitting you have a loss is so strong, our brains will do anything to avoid it. So what happens? We hold on to a losing investment for way too long, just hoping it'll bounce back, all to avoid that ouchy feeling of being wrong. Oh, that makes perfect sense. So our brain is going, oh no, my poor little stock sprout is wilting. I can't possibly sell it now and admit I messed up. I'll just wait, it'll get better. But a really smart, healthy money gardener would be like, you know what, this plant isn't doing so great. I'm going to prune it and use that energy to grow something way healthier over here. Exactly. And check this out. Here's another trap that grows from that very same root. It's called the endowment effect. That same loss aversion thing makes us get super emotionally attached to stuff just because we own it. And because we're so attached, we start thinking it's way more valuable than it really is. Yes, that's it. It's not just any cupcake. It's the best, most special cupcake in the entire world because it's my cupcake. And that feeling, that extra attachment, can totally cloud our judgment when we have to make a choice. Okay, so we've spotted all these little financial weeds. We can't just let them take over our beautiful money garden. So let's talk power-ups. What are the tools we can use to tame this glitch and get way smarter? I am so ready for this. We have 4 amazing power-ups that are going to help us manage all those tricky feelings. We're talking about a financial spellbook, harvest alarms, checking your garden less, and thinking like a CEO. Let's do this. Okay, power-up number 1, write a financial spellbook. This is honestly so important. The idea is to create a set of rules for buying and selling before you ever put your money in, when you're feeling totally calm and logical. That way, when the market has one of its little mood swings, you don't panic. You just follow your own spellbook. Ooh, I love this one, harvest alarms. It's basically deciding ahead of time what price you'll sell at. You set a goal for a happy profit and also one for an acceptable loss. It kind of automates the whole thing so you don't have to make a really hard decision when you're feeling all emotional. So smart! All right, this next power-up might be the hardest one for a lot of people, but trust me, it's so crucial. Check your investments less often.
There's this thing called myopic loss aversion, which is just a fancy way of saying that if you peek all the time, you're going to see every tiny little dip, and every one of those dips triggers that ouches feeling and makes you want to overreact. If you check less, you can see the big picture and ignore all that daily noise.
And our final power-up, think like a CEO. I love this. A CEO isn't going to freak out over one tiny little project, right? They're looking at the whole company, the big picture. So when you look at your entire money garden, one little wilting sprout doesn't seem like such a disaster. It really helps you take smarter risks and not be so timid.
Okay, so here's the best part of all of this. Just by learning about this quirky brain glitch, you've already given yourself a superpower. Seriously, this awareness is like a sparkly shield that's going to protect you.
I love that so much. The wisest gardeners don't just grow flowers, they understand the weeds, you know? Acknowledging this stuff isn't a weakness at all. It's actually what makes you a really wise gardener for your money. That's it, exactly. Look, you can't just erase this ancient wiring in your brain. But the good news is, you don't have to. Now that you can see it and you can name it, you can just acknowledge the feeling when it pops up and then pull out your financial spell book and make a smart, logical choice anyway. You're in control. So we're going to leave you with this question. Now that you have your new sparkly shield of awareness, what's just one financial weed that you're going to lovingly prune from your garden this week? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.